Yeah. James, we're on the desk. We're live in the studio on the desk. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FACEIT CIS Minor. Game 1 is out of the way, and in a surprising turn of events, even if it's just slightly, a Vanguard ended up falling to Forza. Now, in our second matchup, we will have to see who comes out on top when it's all said and done between Team Spirit and Monolith, a team who currently have only 4 matches recorded on HLTV, and all of them are losses. James and Pimp, welcome back.
Yeah, they'll probably win now, won't they? Let's be honest. They'll probably win. I mean, that's just the way that this CIS Minor has been going so far. This is a team who got 0-2'd by Plink, and I mean, they just seem to be having a laugh.
Yes.
They're just here for catering, really. So
I hope not. I imagine that they're very motivated, but it's very difficult for us to pinpoint exactly what to expect from these guys when, unless you've been following their scene very closely and the probably slightly lower echelons in their regions that they're competing in, the information on them is so slim.
Okay, so we know Ubik, right? We're familiar with Ubik.
Yes, so Ubik and Spiker are 2 names that I recognise from their team, and their highest rated player isn't even either of those 2.
Their real story is that they have a player who's called himself Nickelback. When you said Nickelback, I thought his name sounded like Nickelback. No, it's literally Nickelback.
Yeah. Should we get into those details a bit more shortly? And firstly, just remind everybody at home where we are right now and get that bracket up on screen. Well, not physically. We're in Twickenham Stadium in South London. But I mean in terms of the bracket and this CIS Minor. We already saw Group A play out yesterday, and now we're in Group B. Forza took out a Vanguard, and now we've got Team Spirit and Monolith about to square off with a Vanguard waiting in the wings for the loser of this match.
I mean, it's a stacked group when you look at the names compared to the CIS region. I feel Spirit and Vanguard, and now also 4C for some reason, is a good team. So as Vince was saying, like, much closer than initially expected in this group. That said, though, Monolith, we haven't seen anything from them besides losing, right? So despite them lighting the catering, I don't think they're here to beat a team like Spirit, especially now when you look towards the names on Spirit, right? That's a few decent names and a guy in Davkost who's been playing majors before as well.
Exactly. So Davkost, I remember him specifically playing on Flip Side, so when he was with Bondic, World Edit, Markaloff and Blade. Yep. And that was a roster that had some potential, but maybe within himself, he didn't reach the heights that he thought he could with that team. And Blade was a fantastic lead, but they didn't exactly do what potentially was possible.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. They were always here for the majors, and now they're not, and Markaloff's on holiday. So those times have come and gone, unfortunately, but maybe he could do something here. But this is a scary match because they've never, from what we can tell, they have never played Monolith, right? Which means they are essentially a wild card. And in a best of 1, who knows? Monolith can get W here. They've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And it only, in the best of 1, it only takes maybe 2 gimmick rounds to potentially win, depending on the timing. So who knows what they could deliver. We've got some highlights here, but I mean, do we even have a video from Monolith at this point? Highlights of losing 4 matches on HLTV.
The fantastic production here at the FACEIT Miners have some highlights lined up from the games that they might have found after scouring the internet for Monolith clips.
Eco frags.
On screen, we have Team Spirit, and these are some nice shots. That is a fantastic nickname as well, by the way. Some Die Young. It's quite
That's a good
emo,
nickname.
He's
right?
actually a pretty decent player.
It's emo. I think it's like a confident or overconfident assassin's name. Well, I guess some Die Young. It lights up a cigarette. Don't smoke, it's bad for your health.
Yeah, and I have also heard, just as Pimp mentioned, that he is a reasonably talented player, correct?
Yeah, he's a reasonably talented player. I mean, he plays FPL. I have the honor to play with and against him, and he does well for himself in there. So a player that is able to perform at a higher level as well. In general, when you look towards Team Spirit, they just pound by pound, player for player. You know them, you know their names, you recognize them. So that is what they got going for them compared to Monolith, right? In general, a team that, you said it yourself, a guy like Davkost, he's tried it before. He's been in majors before, played with the Flip Side, so he has a little bit of experience. There's nothing that really tells me or suggests that Monolith should be able to claim this one. It's a best of 1, yes, but again, you have 5 players who've been playing this game on a fairly high level for quite some time in the CIS region, so despite it being a domestic lineup, it should be a fairly easy match for them.
Okay, thank you for the input, Pimp. But now we must turn our attention to the mysterious, to the unknown, and approach a topic that we do not have very much information on. Let's focus in on Monolith. So, as already established, only 4 matches recorded on the Encyclopedia of CS, HLTV. Losses on Inferno, Mirage, Nuke, and Overpass. But they have a player that goes by the name of Nickelback. And I think that could be the factor that pushes them over the edge. I
liked Nickelback. Like that one album, because no one knows the other ones, right? I enjoyed it.
See, he's pretty good.
Oh, Nickelback 666. What kind of weird combo is that? It's like Nickelback and the sign of the devil or whatever.
Yeah, that is
curious. He's a man of interesting tastes. He's unique.
I mean, the man on the screen right there, UBQ, is a guy that I remember from my time playing. That like he's still around. I don't remember him being a good player. I don't remember him being something big back then, but I remember him playing right. So it is a guy with experience who's been in and around the CIS competitive scene for quite some time. So it's not like completely unknown kids. They've tried it before, but again, it's tough to talk about something you don't really know about.
I would love to speak to some of these players, get their background information.
The man's called Nickelback. Look how happy he is. He's proud of his nickname.
Yeah.
He's all about Nickelback. But does he
look at that photograph? How's the lyric go, James? Maybe you can sing it for us.
All I can think of is How You Remind Me.
This how... Go on, James.
No. Oh, yeah.
Don't.
Pimp, sing.
No, don't.
I can't do that.
You like to sing, Pimp. You're always singing backstage. You're always trying to get us to sing Danish folk songs.
Yeah, but you're pretty bad at it, so...
No, I hit those...
tones.
Those tones nicely.
Yeah. I mean, Nickelback is going to hit it nicely as well. So
he's going to hit a what?
He's going to hit it. He's going to hit it.
What is he going to hit?
So in match one, we had James saying Jane is going to be on the ting, and now we've got Pimp saying he's going to hit it. I like it, guys.
Yeah, he wasn't on the ting though. Well, he was on the wrong ting.
Not on the ting.
He was on the wrong ting. It was a long ting.
Yeah, he was on a long ting. He was struggling.
Yeah.
Guys, any other thoughts you'd like to add? I think this match will soon be ready to go, but of course we'll have to approach that veto. Again, that's a very difficult thing for us to judge, at least on the side of Monolith. Team Spirit, taking a look at their map pool, I noticed that it looks like they have a decent breadth of what they can play, but Train is most likely going to be a ban.
Most likely. I mean, if anything, this learns us about how their V2 process is, because we gotta assume that Spirit is a team that is gonna go a long time in this tournament. So from the other teams, they can look towards what are they banning, what are they feeling confident on, and that's probably the most we can get out of this V2. Whereas from Monolith, we don't know which map they can play. Apparently, they lost 8 maps in a row, so that's not a too good of a stat right now.
Ban all the maps.
Well, there's only 7 games.
I think Spirit will just ban their weakest maps, play their strongest maps, and be done with it. I'm sure someone will have intel on these players or these teams that are like, they lost to playing Screw it, let's just pick our whatever. Just ban the maps we can't be asked to play today. And then
okay.
Leave in whatever else. So let's see what could have been. No, Inferno's been banned.
Train and Dust 2.
Train's a curious one versus an unknown.
There you go.
There we go.
Dust 2.
Well, that's one of those swinger maps, right?
Yeah, man. It is a swinger map. Bring the car keys.
Jungle VIP.
I think it is an interesting one to play versus an unknown. I think it's an upset map.
Yeah, me too.
For a best of one. I mean, it's not Nuke, but
it's basically a map where everyone is playing on. So like everyone is playing deathmatch 24 hours a day and Dust 2. So everyone has a decent chance of how you hold the melon. So
it actually looks great on camera. It almost looks like a fake melon. It's so shiny.
It's heavy, isn't it? Have you held it?
No.
Guys, can we do the ceremonial passing of the melon? An age-old FACEIT miners tradition. The passing of the melon represents the exchange of
firm as well, right?
knowledge and love between different cultures, and that is why we passed the melon on the test.
What we should do, right? We
should
do like a how much does this melon weigh? How much does this melon? Good thing I'm not commentating right now. How much does this melon weigh, right? And whoever gets closest wins something. Although I don't think we have
I love
the
that
means.
idea. I mean, James, you actually work at FACEIT, so you can probably make sure that happens if that's what you want to do.
Well, the problem is
go.
I don't think we have the means to actually weigh the melon unless we take it to the gym, which might be a journey.
That sounds like a piece of content.
So perhaps we can. It sounds like up your street, Paula.
I could happily go weigh the melon in the gym.
I don't know. We'll talk to people and see what kind of crap we have to give away. Find some bisons, and maybe we can do that later on. But this is a good idea.
There we go.
Well done to me.
Always great to see that the ceremonial passing of the watermelon bring out the best in humankind. And so thank you, James and Pimp, for your input and sharing that moment with me. For now, let's turn our attention to more serious matters as our second match of the day gets underway. It's Team Spirit versus Monolith, Harry and Vince. Over to you.
I do not even know what's happening over there with them three. Yeah, you know, we passed the melons. Me and Vince playing with our fruits as well here on the casting desk. We're getting ready to head into this one. Monolith versus Team Spirit. You know, how are you feeling, Vince? We're going to see Dust 2. First time we've seen it played as well in the CS minor thus far.
Yeah, I think it's a map that, let's be honest, everybody has a pretty damn deep understanding of. It's been around for a long, long time in CS, before Go, of course. And it is a map that I think you can get away with a lot more pug-centric kind of strats. You don't have to be a super strat-heavy team to pull it off in Dust 2. So I think it could be a pretty entertaining match, actually. I think Dust 2 lends itself to sort of stand and bang mentality where both teams just duke it out and may the best team win. I think Spirit, for most people, will, but then again, I'm basing that off a bit of ignorance because, honestly, I don't know a great deal about Monolith. Spirit do have players like Davkos, Sotfik that have been around for a long time. Dima, not to be, obviously, confused with Dimasic. They are different players, after all, but they I would say Spirit are the favourites in this game.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. Monolith, though, they're coming into this a little bit unknown, right? They haven't played many games with this roster. These guys are like a weird amalgamation of like the old Team Spartak, EPG, all mushed into one team. You know, Nickelback used to play for Team Spirit Academy as well. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about, but the pistol round's already underway. And, you know, we can bring that up a little bit later. Down on short, it's going to be Yakindar. You know, I don't really know how I'm going to be saying that, but we'll go with Yakindar for the time being. Believe he's a stand-in. I think they have Cast 9K or something along those lines as their normal fifth. But tell you what, stand-in might be having a stand-up performance right now. First frag found by him. Spike up, good for one before the trade comes through. That said, it's all going to be left on no one as everyone's dead. Monolith find themselves the pistol. That's on the back of 2 frags from Yakindar and 2 for Propler as well.
Not too shabby at all. A hell of a round. Nickelback. I mean, let's be real. I want Nickelback stickers just for the memes, just to fully troll with all my weapons. So I'm going to be hoping. I'm going to try my best not to quote a bunch of songs and
please do
ruin everything.
I love a good song quote thrown in.
Not a huge fan of Nickelback personally, but I can appreciate some of their music. I think they get a bit of a hard time. Some of their music's actually all right.
Yeah, off the top, man, I'm so bad at naming songs just on the go. But I'm going to quickly look a few up. See, you know, because it's one of those things where, like, the second I see one song, I recognize, like, a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
how you remind me
like my knowledge
is,
of CIS teams.
How You Remind Me is their most famous one, right? And Rockstar, that's up there, too.
Oh, yeah, dude, I love a bit of Rockstar. That is a good song.
Those are, like, the super popular songs. There's a bunch of older stuff they did, which wasn't too bad. This Means War's not a bad song. But here we go. Monolith, with their full assortment of weaponry, going to be looking to push in. Of course, Dust 2 and Orpa's Paradise, you're going to be expecting to see a bunch of scouts, and we've already got 2 of them in play. Davkos, who at one point did Orp for a little while on flip side. He's going to be seeing if he can use his scout to use as he goes in aggressively, but it is that man, the monster himself, Nickelback, with the troll grin. I love that picture, by the way. He knows what he's doing. With the MP9, he's not going to get any frags, though, sadly enough.
Okay, that's a bold prediction. Let's wait and see. He's gonna have players coming his way. Also, producer Reese just popped in our ears, gave us the name of another Nickelback tune. It was Burn It to the Ground. Yeah. But yeah, you know, we can try and throw these in. Nickelback. It seems too easy to put them in right now, so we're gonna save the gold for later. They're gonna flash on through, and actually, you're dead on in your prediction. He gets no kills with the MP9. Gonna fall to Dima. Ubeak. Trying to hold the cross, but failing as the bomb does go down. If another 4 Spy wins, I don't know, Vince. I was gonna say I'll eat a boot, but I think you know you're the expert in that field.
Definitely don't do that.
Yeah, it's a big no. It's a big red flag. But yeah, the bomb planted, and well, trades go left and right over in the tunnels. It's a 3-on-3, but that time is still ticking down. They lose Ubeek down in mid. Yakinda and Propler, what can they do?
Not much. Save, it would seem, is the call. And so we are going to have another Force by round B victorious. And Team Spirit instantly trying to reset Monolith. Because they will save 2 M4s, though, it is going to be a much more healthy buy than you'd normally anticipate. So they're not going to be too wrecked, but obviously a bit of egg smid on their face. Going to be feeling a bit hard done by. In terms of this purchase, they have Propler who can drop his P250 maybe. They could maybe force out some UMPs. It's going to be a rough ask, though. Because Propler may want to go for utility, and yes, he decides to go for the utility instead. He has enough for a kit, so I'm a bit confused as to why he hasn't bought a kit, because when you have a few weapons darted around, it's not out of the realms of possibility that you could get into like a 1v1 sort of close-knit clutch situation, so why wouldn't you just go in for the defuse kit?
Well, because, Vince, that would probably make too much sense.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
For us to see today.
My bad.
Yakinda. Yakindar Egg, as I've come to call him, over here on short. Will he contain a surprise? That's pretty much as far as you can take that meme, isn't it? Let's wait and see. As he holds down the angle, Team Spirit going to be pushing over towards long. They have Coldy over in the tunnels, pushing down. About to meet Yakindar over on short, potentially, or maybe Nickelback over here in mid. Holding on to long. It's going to be Ubeek. Man, I used to play with a few guys from the Windstrike roster back when they were QB Fire, you know, known for making it through the major. But anyways, a 4-on-4. This is much more interesting than what I was going to say. They're all the way down through long. Ubeek about to be tested. Yakindar's tagged down low, and Ubeek going to fall at the first hurdle. The bomb looking like it might go down for Team Spirit here as they look to try find themselves their second round.
Now, Monolith do have the 2 M4s and the MP9. This is possible to go for a clutch, but Davkost has landed the shot. Although he will die, Yakinda and Propler both struggling. Spike has also gone down, and, well, I think this is probably the call they should have gone for a little bit early, and that's for another save. Again, because they didn't go for the aforementioned defuse kit, their options were pretty limited overall. And so Team Spirit, after losing the pistol, will win the 2 subsequent rounds and get themselves into a very solid position because Monolith will be into a save. They did go for a full purchase on a few players. Yakinda's going to be able to hold on to his M4 for a little while longer. Can use that smoke just to be absolutely sure that no one's coming up from his side. But of course, we have the benefit of seeing that wouldn't have been the case anyway. However, Spirit 2-1 in the lead.
So I think we've seen 8 maps in total so far here during our time casting, I want to say. Include it, you know, if you include this one. I'm pretty sure we've seen, out of all of that, like 4 pistol rounds actually be converted, 2 of them being by Hellraisers. So that's pretty monumental. I think, you know, it's been like a 75-80% win rate for Force Buys. I don't know, I'm doing this all mentally. It's probably wrong.
Doesn't sound that out of the question,
right?
though,
No,
because
exactly.
It really has been a very, very high percentage.
Yeah, ludicrously high, because it kind of became like a bit of a running joke for us on day one. It's like, oh, will the Force Buy work? But it has every damn time. I don't know what's going on. I spoke to Maniac yesterday. He said he feels like the rules of Counter-Strike aren't being respected. I don't even know what that means. It's a very you know, it's a very like old school thing to say, I guess. But, you know, if anyone has the right to throw a claim like that in the open, it's going to be him. This round, T-Spirit pushing down through mid. And they're just going to take this nice and slow. Spiker is over on short. He's going to be rounding the corner. And he should be discovered by Dima. He'll get beheaded. It's a man advantage game for Team Spirit. Looking like this might all culminate into a B play as they move everyone over towards tunnels. But Monolith going to have to try and hold on with just Nickelback here.
With the P2000. Seeing a Molotov go past his eyes. Hasn't got a kill just yet. He's on for the 0-3 unless he can pick somebody off. And the flashbang into the spray. Sotfik will end him. SDY, by the way, is Sumdai Young, who is a newer player on the scene, I think it's safe to say. And Monolith have Ubik left with his USP. No reason to save, of course, but probably just wants to stop some of that kill reward going to the side of Team Spirit, and he's not going to be able to do that because Saltfix spotted him with the M4. So 3-1 lead, flawless round, but there will be another purchase in, and Spiker can afford an AWP.
He most certainly can. He's gone ahead and bought that out very, very early on. See, with this Monolith roster is an interesting one, right? Because it's not like they're a team of individuals who who we don't know much about. It's like individually we know a lot about the majority of these players. It's just I haven't ever seen them play together as a team. So that's the interesting part. And well, already Coldy is down into the pit. He's tapping away, trying to find something, and Yakindar's there, gonna get beheaded. And advantage gained early on for Team Spirit. Spiker now to try and step up to the plate from inside of the bomb site, and there's that AWP chiming down at range. Going to pick off Coldy. Gets that trade, better late than never. Back into a 4-on-4. And are they going to keep offering themselves up to Spiker? Davkos certainly feels like it. And I'm wondering how he even got that, because I don't think Spiker saw him.
Yeah, blink and you miss it kind of shot. Maybe you could just see the slight pixel of his shoulder protruding around the box. But whatever the reason, Monolith now are in serious trouble as they trail by one player trying to retake the A site, which was once theirs on the short side for Nickelback. But he's ahead of the rest of his team and will be isolated and chopped off from the rest as Sophic goes in for one more. And Sumdai Young comes in with a double kill at the end, 4-1. And as soon as these rifle rounds have come into play, this has looked so simple for Spirit. I mean, there's nothing really there to stop them.
Yeah, it's looked pretty clear-cut, hasn't it, thus far? They're currently 4-1 up. They've just reset the economy once again of Monolith. Sumdai Young, he does have a very nice emo name, but the SDY in game, as he's known, very, it keeps throwing me off whenever I see it.
It does kind of sound like the kind of title from a Nickelback album or song too, by the way. Like that's the kind of stuff we're working with. Yeah. So either way, it is going to be a pause, a tactical timeout, try and rummage together some ideas. I would expect to see some Desert Eagles picked up, very good on Dust 2 because of the open, vast ranges. One of the same reasons why the AWP and the Scout are so prevalent. In fact, some people even use like the AUG, the Bullpup as it was once known, the Krieg, these kind of guns.
See, I mean, I'd see, the SG is pretty viable, but I think the AUG is just terrible. Like, I don't really think there's a situation that ever calls for it.
I'm not a fan personally. I think the SG's all right, but I feel like the AK, like, why would you pick it over the AK-47?
Plus, it's so iconic, man. The AK, it's like, everyone knows it. I mean, that said, I do love seeing players who prolifically like to use the Krieg pick it up. It's always a treat whenever you see someone like MBK go ahead and don it, but, there's already been frags going left and right in this round. Some die young, did die young, and Ubik was next to fall. It's Yakindar over here towards the pit, the man who may or may not be a stand-in. He's not listed on the team page, so I mean, I can only assume so. He's going to be holding off from the pit, trying to do what he can with the Deeg. He's losing the rest of his team around him, though, so this is going to leave him in a bit of a sticky situation, but they can't seem to deal with him.
This is where you're expecting to see some of those Molotovs used. They've got 3 of them. There you go. Finally, one gets tossed in, forcing Yakinder out, and that they've dealt with the problem. They've exterminated the pest. And now Propler, last player, not for too much longer. Will be another buy into the next round for Monolith. They could even afford 2 AWPs if they so choose, and they do get right on top of that. And it looks like Nickelback is a secondary AWPer. He is currently 0 kills. He's going to hope that that changes right here, right now. He does have the best spawn for a mid-peak on the CT side. So let's see if he utilizes that. Straight across. I thought he may try and peek up mid, but there was a smoke there anyway to get them to the sanctuary of the B site.
Yeah, and it looks like Sumdai Young going to try and play for control of Long once again. Now, Monolith, this is an interesting setup. 2 players going to try and steal control away from Long. Ubik and Yakinda are going to be going for that. Meanwhile, Spiker holds from the crossroads, keeping an eye on short. But their lack of mid-control means that they're playing reactively. That said, Sophics going to buy them some time. He Molotovs off him and Dima here in the short position. Yeah, no one over on Monolith taking a peek at the mid. And the reason why that's so significant is, you're running 2 AWPs. It's pretty common to have, you know, if you are running a double AWP setup such as this, to have a man at least, you know, taking the occasional peek for info down towards middle with one of them. Instead, they're playing 2 men inside of B. Propler keeping an eye on mid, and Nickelback donning that secondary AWP, watching tunnels. They're about to be tested. Peek comes out through mid. Nickelback going to tag up Dima. Goes back for more. Sophic next to Ball, and there's a man close. Miss shot from Nickelback. Sees him fall, and now it's Propler left to try and stand his ground.
Yeah, downside is with zero map control over mid, they really were pressured on Nickelback and Propler doing a lot more. A 2-for-2 trade probably not going to be good enough. Going to be hard to get back onto the site. Yakinda, who wanted to push into tunnels, going to get Molotov down, but now Sumdai Young from the side's able to sideswipe them. And Spirit with a 6-1 lead. The double AWP setup is going to cost them a great deal of finances and yields very little in reward. So Monolith back to the familiar territory of an eco round.
Yeah, they certainly know what it means to have very little money. That's been the reoccurring theme here for Monolith. Propler falls down in mid, not able to get anything done. And yeah, I mean, already this looks like it should be another Team Spirit round. This is pretty clinical from these guys right now. Expecting them to be the favorites heading into this. And they're certainly living up to that, at least early on. Now, see, with Monolith, it's weird. It's like you have a collection of players who have played with people who it feels like have all gone on to greener pastures. And this is like, you know, this is a team of guys who perhaps got left behind a little bit, kind of all banding together. But maybe you could even make the argument this is maybe perhaps a bit of a last chance for some of these guys, right? Ubeek, he played with, you know, the old QB Fire lineup back in the day when they played for, I don't even remember what team, I'll be honest with you. But he played with them. He's also played, you know, with, off the top of my head, I don't even remember. I had a whole bunch of research coming into this. It's all gone blank when I need it the most. You know, when I call upon it, Vince, it's not there. But Nickelback holding off this B-bomb site with a CZ. He's good for one. Will get toppled by Coldy. So Nickelback not going to be producing any more hits anytime soon as he falls inside of B. It's just Yakinda and Ubeek left alive, 2v3.
Yep, it's gone bottoms up. Looking like the round will follow too. I'm going to kiss it goodbye. But in terms of Team Spirit, they have looked pretty confident. I will say, for all of the disappointment we had for Avangar, really screwing it up quite a bit on that Inferno performance, Spirit, who are the certain favourites in this match, have had no similar fate. Of course, it's still early days. It's possible Monolith could bounce back, but on the CT side, you're expecting a little bit more. And of course, the only round that they did pick up was the pistol anyway. So when you get rifles in play, they've been completely comprehensively shut down. Ubeek's going to try and take some players with him. Not going to work out, as Davkos Deagle will find his head. And Yakinda is going to miss out too. No saved weapons. They're going to have full round loss bonus anyway, of course, so AWPs are going to be the state of play. But let's see if this time they have more mid control, because last time they totally gave it up and it cost them.
Yeah, they played a weird setup, you know, leaving 2 players inside of B, 3 players inside of A. And, you know, while it's interesting, you could definitely throw it in if you know, Team Spirit is showing a lot of aggression over towards that B-bomb site or harassing, you know, A-long a lot. You never really see it happen. I think largely it's just because, you know, at that point you're so limited in what you can do, because suddenly you struggle to rotate through mid. So if a player comes in towards a B-bomb site, the guys that have to rotate in through CT have so many angles to clear as they head on through, and you know, vice versa for rotating back towards A. So you kind of, you know, if you're able to win your duels in a 2-on-5 or a 3v5 inside of the A and B bomb site, you know, maybe you could make the argument for it, but that's largely the reason why, is because of this double doors and how that all leads to mid control having such a heavy impact on rotations. You don't normally see it happen.
Look at it. They haven't stopped running down mid. They're already, with 1:38, on the brink of pushing into B. Come on, Monolith.
So once again, they've left mid open. This is why you don't do it. They've got no clue this has even happened. They're the easiest kills of Demon's whole career. The bomb's going to go down. Team Spirit, there's no way they don't find an 8th here. It's a 3v4 retake. The safe call's already come in.
Mate, if I am a proper UKCS scrub and I can see from 10 miles away that mid-control is the problem, how are Monolith not addressing this?
Yeah, and you know, you can always, like, it's very easy to be like, oh, but we have X-ray and they don't. But it's okay, but that round they just both got executed from a guy in window, you know, 25 seconds into the round. You don't need X-ray to know that, you know, you've just been shot in the back. So, I think, you know, next round, or the next buy round rather, is when we're going to see the adjustment come in and there be a man put on mid. You know, especially if you want to keep running a double AWP setup. That's the most jarring thing to me. If you have a second AWP that you can look to expend, then, you know, stick him on mid. Do they really have that little faith in Nickelback being, or, you know, or I think it's Propler playing the B bomb site with him. Do they have that little faith in the Rifleman there being able to hold down the bomb site that they have to double it up? And even then with 2 players inside of B, they both got wrecked from window anyway. Team Spirit are having the time of their lives. These guys, you know, pretty seasoned veterans, all things considered. You have Dav Kost, who, as you said, you know, played for Flipside one point in time, and the rest of the guys, they've been part of this roster now for ages. There's so much experience. Someday Young coming in as the new guy. But you can already see, this time they had players over in mid. Yakindar's gone aggressive up through short. They've tried to remedy the problem. There's the first kill going the way of Monolith. The second going to be found by Yakindar. Leaving now Team Spirit 3v5.
I do love that Spirit went for a long push instead, assuming that there would be more play stacked in mid, but they needed someone to hold the mid push, because now it's very one-dimensional. The CTs know they're pushing up. Deem is still able to get 2. Yakindar consistently in the right place at the right time. But finally he will fall, and he's picked up 3 by himself. He really needs Propler Nickelback to help him out. Propler with a touchdown nade. Sumdai Young, last player left alive, able to get the 1-tap onto Nickelback, but Propler is there to double the round tally for Monolith. Better late than never, but losing 4 players as well, Harry, and resetting their round loss, Team Spirit going to be licking their lips. Because if Yakinda doesn't push mid and get those 3 kills, this round is going the way of Spirit again. So, yes, they got a round, but it's not really filling me with confidence.
Yeah, definitely not. And yeah, I figured out where Yakindar is from, where I recognize him from. He, of course, played in EPG, actually with a few of these guys. So that's where you might have heard of him from. He's having a decent performance right now. Isn't listed as being an official part of this roster, so I imagine that's a stand-in. But, you know, they have the experience playing with him. They've only been together for a few games anyway in this current iteration. But, as you say, a chance for Team Spirit to reset the economy of Monolith here, or over at long on the back of Spiker. Him and Yakin are going to look to try and take the aggression here. There's a man that... Oh!
Sorry, what? I'm out.
Oh!
I'm out.
Monolith, this is not the debut you want.
I am out of here.
Oh boy. Well, you know, it's not the highest standard of CS that we're seeing.
I think that's being kind.
Yeah. But there's still time. It's still early days, Vince. That's what you have to tell yourself. It always gets better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You know, maybe that's a Nickelback song in the works.
It needs to be.
Yeah. Nickelback and UB going to try and take control of mid here away from Team Spirit. But Team is already down short. Of course he is. They get caught completely off guard. Propler and UB could turn this around, but the trade's coming in from Sumdai Young. This round looks like it might be over. Spike is left 1v3.
Times like this, it would be sure useful if they had that extra player that didn't get shot in the back of the head. I believe it was Spiker that killed him too. 2 and 10. Looking for players in mid. Gonna find Sumdai Young, but Davkos will return the favour. And it will not be a 3rd round for Monolith. Instead, they are into the pretty much backs against the wall approach where they have to buy. They had a couple players on $1,400 or thereabouts. Most teams would force at this stage. Just seeing the Spiker Team K onto Yakinda. And I don't even understand why that was a thing. Like, he knew his teammate was there.
Yeah, I didn't even know if that was Spiker. I think he just goes for, like, you know, like going for like the preset like line-up wall bang onto the car. And Yakinda's like, I'm pushing, but I don't know. That's just like a lapse in communication, and maybe that comes from the fact that Yakinda isn't normally playing with this roster, even though he has played with a few of them back in EPG. Yakinda falls this time over at long. He loves a bit of aggression. Whether it's his own teammates shooting him in the back for it or the enemy, he does seem to go down a lot early on. Team Spirit now aggressing in through mid once again. They're going to go unchecked. There are players up here on short to try and combat it, but both of them taking a passive stance means that they're not going to spot this out. It's Nickelback down in the tunnels, though, that could make all the difference.
CZ in hand, close range. Going to get the drop on Coldy, but the spray goes alright. As does the round. And now Propler going to move in with his CZ. Just Molotoving this side alcove to make sure no players are being pesky and hiding their bomb. Goes out into the open, but because the kills are being replied on by Team Spirit, no real issue. Hell of a shot by Spiker as a smoke is deployed. And both remaining Ts are low. No way of Monolith knowing this for certainty. But if they were to aggress back on, even without a kit, if they can clean these kills up fast, the round is still up for grabs.
Coldy and Dima to overthrow, though. This is a duo that dates back for quite some time. These guys are going to try and work together to outlast the two Monolith players. It's UBeak in a 1v1 now. Coldy having to double down to clutch this out, and he's going to do it despite being tagged. Down to a measly sub 40 HP. Team Spirit going to find a 10th round on the back of a nice double from Coldy. He holds his own. It's 10-2. There's no more money left for Monolith. They're still suffering from that one round, that one solitary round they won just 2 rounds ago. All the money has ran dry. Team Spirit looking good to find an 11th round. And if this continues for Monolith, the only prize that they might win here is the guessing the weight of the watermelon contest, the ceremonial melon. But I think they want a bit more than that.
I mean, judging off this performance, they probably drop and smash it anyway. Like full on, just let it slip through their fingers. I tell you who is enjoying watching this match is a Vanguard. They're like, brilliant.
Yeah.
No problem. We got Monolith in our back pocket. If they lose against Monolith now, get in the bin.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just, yeah, that's savage, mate. But, no, it's very, I mean, Monolith, yeah, I was looking forward to seeing these guys. Because between them, they have a lot of experience, and there was a few nice storylines we could have looked at. You know, Nickelback playing for Team Spirit Academy along with a few of the guys from Plink. It would have been nice, you know, to see Nickelback, someone who played in the Academy team for Team Spirit, now start to do well against them. But he's 2-11, so it's kind of just showcasing, like, yeah, no, there was a reason you're back in the Academy team, Nickelback. Sadly, I think we're a long way away from getting Nickelback stickers in the game. It could just be a bad game, though, of course. These guys, like I said, between them, they have a lot of history, a lot of experience. Not as this roster, but just individually. And everyone's allowed to have one bad day.
The problem, of course, in this setup with the Miner is if you have one bad day, you're gone. Right, that is pretty much the format here. If Monolith will have one more crack at it, assuming that Spirit convert from this point and win the map, which is looking very likely, Monolith will just have one more chance, and it will be against a Vanguard, so it's not going to get any easier for them. A Vanguard will have a point to prove after that first performance too, because that was shoddy from their perspective. You expect a lot more from that team.
Yeah, I walked past them all, eating some breakfast as well. They're getting their fuel in, they're getting ready for this game. And then, you know, you kind of look at it and it's like, you know, maybe Avangard are taking a look at this, you know, taking some notes. I think if you're Avangard, you're watching this, yeah, you were bang on where you're like, great, you know, Monolith, I think we can feel pretty comfortable heading into that one. Because there is no doubt, like, if I had to rank this group, I'd put Avangard, Team Spirit at the top, then Fours, and then Monolith down at the bottom, just because they're so unknown in terms of how they're going to synergize as a team.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And you know, right now they just haven't synergized as a team. It's been individual performances, and even then, you look at pound for pound in terms of firepower, and Team Spirit win that out anyway, right? So if your teamwork isn't there, and you're hoping to kind of best them on aim alone, and they aim better than you regardless, and it does feel like it's a bit of a lost match. And then you take into account how long this Team Spirit roster's been together, or at least the core 4 of them, right? So, you know, they're going to have all that synergy down. They've got all that stuff worked out. They're looking good. This time around, they're going to try and take control of Long. Can Yakandar have anything to say about it?
Well, he's pretty much isolated because his teammate was smoked out, which is Spiker. And because he has an AWP, he doesn't want to get too aggressive through there. I feel like a bit of indecision. Either the CTs need to fully bite down on holding Long, or they need to back off into the smoke and give it up. In doing neither, it's a 1-for-1 trade, although a lot of damage has been inflicted to the terrorists, and Nickelback Here's the next contestant to step up to the plate, but he's going to get shut down in the back, and now it's going to be the advantage in favor of Spirit once more. Ubik's pretty much alone. He does have Propler coming around from the backside. Can he finish off the weakened terrorist? No. Davkost and Coldy both surviving sub 20 health. And that pretty much is just how this match has been going. Monolith not able to capitalize on the chances they've been given.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's easy to kind of look at Monolith failing a step up, but also, I mean, I think T-Spirit have been playing very, very well. They seem so well drilled on what they want to be doing right now. You can see there's so much thought behind every single move that gets made, even in that round there, with the 2 smokes going out down at long to isolate Spiker and then catch out Yekindar on his own. It's all just little things like that that allow them to find these man advantages, and then they play off the back of it. Already in this round, Dima's ready and waiting for Yekindar. Propler offers himself up to Coldy. And, you know, you're looking at this, it's a 3v5, you've got 2 scouts, you're already out of this round. There should be no way for you back in. It's going to take a tremendous individual effort from one of these players. And, well, Spiker's over here on short with a scout in hand. He's looking to try and be the man to haul them through, and he does spot out Davkost, but the trade is there straight away from Dima. So while they lose one, they're instantly able to recuperate it. The bomb's got them by on short, and it's going to look to go down inside of A.
As you say, it's looking even more tenuous than before. Precarious at best. Saltfit going to plant on top of the box, giving even more angles to watch out for on the retake. Dima using the smoke to his advantage. Pop flash in. No problem for Dima. Double spray headshots with a 4K to finish off the half. And he also finishes with 20 kills and 3 assists. Very well played by Dima. And our Monolith have a Herculean effort required if they want to even get close to bringing this back.
Yeah, no, it's going to have to be one hell of a T-side, and it's going to have to start with a pistol round victory, or else this feels like it's going to be GG for Monolith in this first best of 1. Not the debut I think they wanted to make here at the minor, but for Team Spirit, things are looking great. It's been a clinical performance from these guys. This time around, Monolith just going to go in with the A rush. Coldy about to be tested, but the Glock going to fare well at this sort of range. Not the Glock, rather, the USP. So the polar opposite of what I wanted to. A team that know a lot about doing the polar opposite of what they're meant to do is Monolith. They're going to go running on up through the long angle. They get all 5 players up towards the bomb site, so the bomb can go down here. It's just Coldy over on the elbow to worry about.
But whereas you said before, the range wasn't favouring the Glocks before, now it is. Now the USPs have to come in closer. Now Spirit have to go in for the retake. This is where the Glocks can be very powerful. P250 also in the hands of Spiker, who negates going for the Kevlar and will get the rewards with a headshot, but Sophic back in with 2 of his own. He's performing well so far. Coldy onto Nickelback, and now it's all onto the aforementioned P250, and Spiker tries to tap himself into a round win. They're dropping back. They're trying to keep the angles as multiplex as possible, but Some Die Young has been picked off, and now Spiker just has to stop the defuse, which is so close, but the bomb's not planted for him. Oh my goodness. Spirit are going to take the round, and that is painful.
Coldy, oh, he even went for the knife. What a guy. What a literal troll. Oh, that's amazing. Look at them. They just look so concentrated as well. That's just, I mean, that's heartbreaking. Because if he'd ran up the ramp, if it had been clearly communicated to Spiker where that was, and that was his round, there was like 11 HP left on Coldy. It only took 1 shot, and it was the decision to jump up on top of the box, thinking that, I guess it was planted somewhere else, that he could have got there in time. Ultimately, it all crumbles down around Monolith. They've gone for the force here. It's an AK up on Propler that looks to try and propel them back into this game, but it's going to need to be a monstrous comeback. And Davkost already doing so much damage down here towards mid. Spiker goes peeking out from short, but he's been repelled, and M4 is enough to scare him away from the angle for the time being.
Nickelback, oh so close to being finished off. Just 3 health remains. Meanwhile, the rest of his team starting to make a move in mid and short respectively. Ubix is going to be joining Spiker, who's already there. Has a Desert Eagle. Only the 1 AK-47 in play. And behind the smokes, they will push, but there is a slight gap in there. Davkost could see a glimmer, a glimpse of a player peeking his angle, but Spike is there with the 1 dig. Coldy, there's a flashbang that lands on the entire terrorist side, but now it has subsided. And Yakenda will go in for another frag of his own. So Monolith have another chance here, Harry. This is doable, a 4v3 retake. They've got to win this. They lose this, they're pretty much done.
Time's ticking down. They're trying to play the clock. Deem has done damage, going to get caught off guard from Nickelback all the way down in pit. It's Sotfik left in a 1v2, and he has Yakenda and Nickelback yet to topple. Down into CT, Nickelback's going to get found through the smoke, now into the 1v1, and Yakenda, scout in hand, going to have to land a headshot, falls, Sotfik finds it. The defuse going to look to come through. It's going to be tight, going to come down to the wire, and Sotfik's just done it. Team Spirit going to reach map and match point here on a Dust 2. Monolith going to be kicking themselves. They get the bomb plants, they can have that much more in the force. But yeah, this should be GG. There should be no way back into this ever.
That was incredibly close to going off. There was a second where he checked the backside of the box, and that 1 second nearly cost him so dearly. But, I mean, I said at the time, Monolith, you've got to capitalize on those chances. And they've let another one slip through. It's looking like it's going to be 16-2. They're all stacked in long, decide against it as a Molotov and a smoke go out. And, of course, Yakenda goes out by himself. He alongside Propler, top fragging for his team, both with 11. They've both done decent work, but it's been really a case of individual efforts. It's not really been a cohesive unit that we've seen from Monolith so far. Dima now going to be tested, but Coldy gets caught in mid. Dima with the UMP. Pretty long range, able to connect onto Nickelback. There is full Kevlar in play. There's Ubik with his Desert Eagle. Comes in for a second as Dima gets destroyed. And now will be another bomb plant and another retake. This time it's Davkost and some die young.
Plenty of utility, though, still up on either side, in all honesty. There's a smoke and a Molotov on Ubik. That's something you have to keep an eye on, as that's going to cost Team Spirit so much time. Propler holding close with the UMP. Molotov up into the window, and as a result, they have to go running through it. Davkost finds the first. Ubik's been a star for them in this round, but he still has so much more to do, and some die young. Making his debut with Team Spirit here, able to go ahead and find a match point for them. 16-2 going to be the scoreline. It's a convincing win for Team Spirit, and smiles all around, as they'd be feeling pretty good about that one. A very, very convincing win to kickstart their run here at the CIS Minor.
Dominant, comfortable. It was pretty much what we expected, but I would say, even though we don't know much about Monolith and we thought Spirit were the certainly favorites, didn't expect it to be a 16-2, didn't expect it to be such a stomp. Pretty disappointed overall with Monolith, to be honest.
Yeah, the Magic Melon mauled Monolith there. Clearly that was what happened. The ceremonial passing of the Melon to kickstart the day just put a curse on them. They couldn't get into that game. They couldn't get into the swing of things. Team Spirit, they just looked fantastic. I mean, flawless pretty much from there. There's a few rounds that elude them, one being the pistol, which is kind of 50-50 anyway. And then there was like one rifle round that seemingly came from nowhere from Monolith, but that's all they got. And it was a surgical T-side from Monolith. I imagine, you know, like Pimp's going to have a lot to say on something like that. I mean, I love the sort of, I don't know, like they never started to get really cocky, right? They were always taking it very, very seriously. All the decisions they made, apart from, you know, like Coldy going for that knife, but he'd already won the round. So I really liked what we saw there from Team Spirit.
Yeah, they did seem to have their head screwed on, because a lot of the times, as you say, teams will get overconfident. They'll start pulling out weapons that you wouldn't normally anticipate. They'll go super aggressive, almost show this no respect style of play. But Spirit were like, no, we got a job to do here. We want to get this over and done with fast so we can rest up, play our next game, feel good about things. And I think, honestly, they're the best team that we've seen so far, not just in this group, but in this entire minor.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think they're going to be very, very threatening if they can keep this up looking forward. But to break this down even more, we're going to go ahead and head this back with the guys over on the desk.
It's your boy P, joined by JB, and also the man from Denmark, J Dubs.
Very well, very good.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, we also have another special guest with us, but you won't have that revealed to you until we return from this fantastic replay package, where we can see, yeah, most of the time Team Spirit firing off on all fronts, and Spiker spiking his teammate in the back of the head. You don't want to see that. You hate to see it, but you love it.
That was all Team Spirit. I suppose they, I mean, we expected a W for once we actually got the expected W. And I guess I can only assume that Monolith are much more inexperienced team at this level of Counter-Strike. So it was a dominating performance from Team Spirit. That puts them in a very good position in the early stages of this side of the CIS minor for sure.
Yeah,
and
shame that our faint favorite Nickelback having a rough game right there, man. He needs to...
yeah, he couldn't remind us after all.
No?
Yeah, well, Pim, tell everybody about what went so good for Team Spirit on the T side.
I mean, everything went well for them. They were just better. Pound for pound, player for player. Every single duel went into their favor. It seemed like every single round Melonhead went into their favor.
James, please stop looking at me like that. I don't appreciate it.
But we can see your head.
You can't see... Okay, you can actually see my head. Anyway, like I said, we're still joined by a very special guest on the desk. What was his name again? Gordon?
Gordon the Melon.
Gordon the Melon. He's a wonderful young man, and we're happy to have brought him down and make his dreams come true.
It's not quite Flash Gordon, but it'll do.
That will be the reward heading on over to Team Spirit for progressing to play just shortly from now Forza from the first match. And so that means later on today we will see a Vanguard go up against Monolith. All right, but let's start recapping a bit more from that matchup. That T side, like we mentioned, was fantastic for Spirit. 13 rounds, and Dima looked fantastic.
It seemed like he was playing a good match of deathmatch right there, basically.
Yes.
And that's how it goes when you play Dust 2 sometimes. It's a very Poggy's map, it's a very open map, and if you're better than the opponents and you have better aim, in most cases you'll end up winning big time like Spirit just did right here. I think Monologue answered the question we had. Were they good? The answer is no.
Did you say Monologue?
Yeah, whatever.
Jacob, come on, it's the Monolith, the large, non-moving structure of huge presence that was actually shattered to pieces here and potentially was just an illusion of size and power.
I think they were simply outclassed by Spirit, but perhaps we need to see what they can do against the rest of this side of the minors bracket, because while Spirit seemed too far away from Monolith, maybe the other teams will be somewhat closer. So I don't really know if there's too much with such a lopsided victory. I don't know if there's too much that the other teams can take into. I don't know why you're making me laugh, Paul. You're just standing there. I don't know what.
Was I giving you the? I was literally just looking at you like.
I know. We've got too much history.
Can I take the watermelon back? Because I feel like you're disrespecting him by laughing so much. And whilst I return this to my precious grasp, let's get the bracket up on screen so you guys can see exactly where we are.
And I mean, the big problem for Monolith in this one is that they face Avanga, who most likely is still the heavy favorite to go through this CS minor together with Hellraisers, right?
I know, man. I'm feeling me some Team Spirit now, and that's not because of their performance against Monolith, because again, that's not really representative of what they might do against the rest. But I think that better start is going to be beneficial for them, and Vanguard already in the bottom half of the bracket, I think, will be feeling some pressure now.
Also great for core exercise.
Yeah, some resistance training.
Just
so you can hold.
Just so you can hold the melon.
You can hold it up for.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, actually, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to close out with, going into this next best of 3, or with regards to this last best of 1?
Is my hand small, or is the watermelon small, or is my hand big?
I think
leave your answers on a postcard. Send me a tweet. Which one is my camera? I don't even know which one it is. Is it
when it lights up, yeah, you can see it.
But there's no light on it. There's that one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's that one. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's my thought anyway. What about you?
I think your hand is big.
My hand is big.
Yeah.
That's his final thoughts. Over to you,
You said that in quite a flirty manner, Jacob. Anyway, everybody, that will be it for now. Remember to get involved in our giveaway that we currently have going on. And also check us out on social, firstly. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else. And yes, the giveaway details will come up on screen shortly. I think it's called the FACEIT Millionaire. Mine is Millionaire giveaway. 2 million FACEIT points. FACEITmajor.com/giveaway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very soon we will be back for our final best of 1 of the day, and then after that move into some best of 3s. Do not go anywhere, and we will see you shortly.